Hey guys, how's it going on this year, and a very warm welcome to a new video on our channel. Today we'll be covering the highlights from round 13, I think it is, of the F1 2017 Ziggo Pro League. Yes, we are still using F1 2017 and not F1 2018. The league coordinators decided that F1 2018 online was not stable enough just yet to race over there, but we may see F1 2018 coming into this season later on. On the left hand side of your screen are the championship standings. After the previous round, which was before the summer break, we actually overtook Jesse Post in the standings. Jesse Post, who races with the nickname Gemsel. We overtook him, which was brilliant. Means we are now in second place rather than third. Albert van der Wal, as always, dominant in the league ever since he has entered the league itself. But coming here into the Spa Francorchamps circuit, I wasn't all that confident, to be honest. Had roughly 2 hours of practice before the race here. Well, let's put it a bit more precise, 1.5 hours of practice before the race, and the rainy conditions didn't make it a lot easier either. Currently down in 15th place actually, so there was a lot of pressure on this final lap here. We get one more lap in these conditions, and I can tell you already that the race will be dry. So it's very important, of course, to get a good lap in here. Rouge was not flat, maybe it was, but I didn't have the balls to take it flat. First sector completed then, let's see what we are like in terms of lap time, or sector time rather. Already 1.2 up, so the track conditions at the end of the qualifying here, they were a little bit better than at the start, I believe. Not much better, but definitely a little bit better, I would say. And of course we had one more lap to go here, so lowest fuel level as possible, excuse me. Coming into the second sector here, relatively tidy through this long hairpin, then down the hill slightly for this left-hander. Could have gone a little bit faster through there, but that was alright. Now I can tell you that I did a lap before this lap, and we were actually purple at the end of the second sector, but I abandoned that lap in order to get this lap in. So I abandoned the previous lap where we were on for quite a massive improvement, because I thought I could improve more in this lap. So I went to the pit lane, got a new set of tires, intermediate tires of course, and went out again with the lowest fuel level as possible. Coming through the second sector then, let's see what we are like in terms of sector time yet again. Here we go, it's actually purple again, 2.5 seconds up. So we're looking for maybe a 157 if we can have a good final sector as well. Maybe a 156, because we need to be in a 56 if we want to get pole. Made us there with a 156.5. which is a very strong and fast lap time, of course. Let's see how close we can actually get to that as we enter the bus stop chicane here. Braking quite a way before the one on the meat board, getting it all slowed down right and then left. And now the exit here is very important out of the bus stop chicane. Get slowly on the power, short shift up to third, and across the line we go with a 156.8, which put us up in second place, which is obviously a lot better than 15th place where we were before. So a lot of pressure there on that final run, but in the end got second place, which again is not too bad at all. Ian Bastijn behind us, and our main rival Gemsel is actually down in 9th place. So, well, good qualifying for us, considering we had one more run there in the end, which, well, was all or nothing really. If we didn't improve a lot there, we would have stayed roughly around 15th place. We had to get a good lap in there, but luckily we did. So starting on the ultra soft tire, I want to make life as hard as possible for Albert van der Wal. Matus is his gamer tag in game. Set up there, you can see it as well. Starting in second is not necessarily a bad thing around this track. You know the drill around this track, right? I mean, if you start in second, you get a massive slipstream coming up, or rouge down onto the Camel Straight. So let's actually see whether we can put some pressure on Matus, because usually when he starts in first place, he pulls away from the pack and that's it, he wins the race. So let's see what we can do. It all needs to start here at the start of the race, of course, which has just gone underway. Relatively alright start here, maintaining second place, that is the target, and we are able to do that, covering the inside line coming into turn 1, just to make sure nobody dive bombs on the inside of us. Now comes the most important thing, can we challenge Matus coming into the Les Combes, I think it's called, that part of the circuit. Of course, it's the start of the second sector, coming up on Rouge, then right in the slipstream. We can see already here, pulling him in, making use of the slipstream. He goes defensive on the inside of the corner. We have to go around the outside. This is probably the only opportunity we're gonna get. So outbraking him round the outside. Bit of contact made, but can we stick around the outside? Yes, we can. He's still side by side with us though. So again, around the outside for this right-hander. We're still side by side. Do we have the advantage? Yes, we do. Seems like we are able to get into the lead. I make sure that I leave plenty of space for him on the inside there. make sure that there is no contact made, and then the next corner is, well, we have the inside line for the next corner, so we're able to get into the lead of the race. And so brilliant, well, technique, although I say brilliant, I don't think it deserves a brilliant word choice, because it's very straightforward actually. Starting in second place around this track, you get so much slipstream coming up Eau Rouge, and because of that you're able to take the lead. I mean, of course we were side by side for a couple of corners, and I know that I can trust Metis. This guy has got great racecraft, just like our teammate KLM has. Speaking of our teammate, he was very quick around the track yet again. If you remember Hungary before the summer break, he was very fast there as well, and I said in the video there as well, I think that KLM, so our teammate, has overall better roll pace than us. The thing that he's lacking perhaps a little bit is the qualifying results, first of all. Secondly, maybe some consistency in the race, or I don't know, because of his worst qualifying results, he quite often he starts lower down the field than us, and then he needs to work his way up. But generally, I think overall he has got better roll pace than we have got. So let's see what we can do now. While we are in first place, and we are all on the ultra softs, apart from I think our teammate who started on the super soft tire, if I'm not mistaken. So second lap then, Mate is already putting a little bit of pressure on us. Bear in mind as well, he has not got DRS just yet. Are we able to stick it here? It seems like yes, yeah, we are. Okay, so maintaining the lead for now, but the fact that Metis was already alongside us there, even without the DRS, as that will be enabled this lap, is quite, quite a worrying side. But to be fair, I did not expect to pull away from Metis here at all. I'm happy that I'm in the lead, and I will defend with everything that I've got, as we are side by side into Pohon, but able to stick around the outside as well, which is good. And like I said, I wasn't expecting to maintain the lead here, but I am going to fight with everything that I have. I mean, how often do you find yourself in this position where you're in front of Metis? Not often, do you? So give it everything that we've got to maintain this first place, but at the same time I do need to be a realist. I do need to be realistic and know that Allard most likely, as always, has better pace than us. Lap 4 of the race then, previous lap DRS was introduced, but he could not overtake just yet. 148.6, 148.3 from Floris Weyers. Floris actually started at the back of the grid. He had a back of the grid penalty, but he is making his way up quite nicely. So keep him in mind, perhaps he will be a tough competitor or someone who challenges us for a position at the end of the race. I do believe he's on the super soft tire as well. Is he? Actually no, I think he's on the ultra soft. So Metis then this time with DRS again, he's going for a move around the outside of Les Combes here. We need to go side by side, it's very braking quite late, still side by side with the inside line for this right hander. Again, this is a good battle that we are seeing here between Metis and ourselves. Like I said before, Metis has got excellent racecraft, so I can trust him going side by side into all of these corners. We're still side by side, a marvelous battle which we are seeing here, but in the end we have the upper hand yet again. So it's looking good for us, but of course while we are battling, we are not able to break away from the rest of the field, which means Counter-Strike is in third place and also ready to strike when we are making a mistake. So we could not only lose a position to Metis, we could also lose a position to Counter-Strike. And while all of this is going on, our teammate Racecraft is sticking with us, I believe, in 4th place. I'm trying to look in the mirror to try to see if I can see a Mercedes. I'm sure that Racecraft is somewhere around 4th, 5th, maybe 6th place, and he is on the super soft tire, so he's basically able to keep up with us while we are battling with Metis, and he is on the super soft tire. So bear in mind the different strategies that we are seeing here. Metis again going for the inside of the bus stop chicane and leaving plenty of room, but he's not able to make the move yet, but he's very close this time around, so it wouldn't surprise me if he makes a move coming onto the Camel Straight this lap already. Lap 5 of the race then. You can see that we are losing quite a bit of time every lap because we are battling with Metis, trying to get a good action out of La Source here. La Source is such a tricky corner. It seems all so easy, but it is absolutely not easy for, at least me. I struggle a lot with that corner, to be honest. You need to find the right balance between carrying too much speed on exit and having a poor, carrying too much speed on entry and having a poor exit. As it seems like Metis is making a fairly straightforward move here. We're still side by side. Can I outbrake him into Les Combes? He braked very late. We're still side by side, but this time I didn't realize that I need to back out of it, and Metis actually gets the lead. It was fun for the time being. I mean, it was fun being in the lead for roughly 5 laps, but at the same time, you do need to realize Metis has got better pace, as always. Tried to do the best that I could, trying to defend from him, but at the same time, we now need to focus on the rest of this race, and as always, try to perhaps finish in second place, which always seems the maximum result when Metis is racing. I've said it many times before. So immediately what goes on through your mind at this stage is, of course, you want to stick with Metis for as long as you can. You know that this guy has the better pace than you, but you want to stick with him for as long as you can, because the DRS and slipstream is so effective around this track, especially of course in the first and third sector. And we still have DRS on Metis, and even though he's pulling away a little bit, but keep in mind as well, Counter-Strike here is doing an excellent job in third place at the moment. We're actually having a three-way fight here, a three-way battle for the lead as we get our first warning of the race there for exceeding track limits. We're able to stick with Metis so far, but again, top 3, that's really where the battle is going on in this race. Coming into lap 7 then, this is the time where we are roughly due to make a pit stop. We don't have DRS anymore on Metis. We do have Counter-Strike behind us, putting a lot of pressure on us. Counter-Strike was doing a fairly good job in this race. It's going for the inside of Lake Com. I tried to stick it around the outside. I didn't expect him to go that deep into the corner. There was almost contact made. Maybe there was even a little bit of contact made. Counter-Strike then backed out of it. And so we are able to, again, keep our second place here. Lap 7 then, didn't pit, we skipped to lap 8, and actually the field is bunching up a little bit again, but this time for second place. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, what is it? I think a 4-way battle now for second place. And again, what I was gonna say, after Metis overtook us, your mind is you have immediately the mindset where you think about the championship. We know that Gemso is our closest competitor in the championship, so we really want to beat him. Racecraft goes through then on the super soft tires. Same for Gemso, who's on the super soft tires. Gemso started in 8th or 9th place, remember? He is now, well, in the top 3 because we just pitted. So Racecraft and Gemso both are 2 drivers to look out for. I don't know why Counter-Strike there was being held for a little while in his pit box. I won't complain though. Exiting the pit lane, lap 9 of the race. Are we able to keep in front or stay in front of Overdyking? That's going to be crucial. We don't really want to be stuck behind Overdyking. I think Overdyking, if he wants to, he can have a clear shot at overtaking us coming into Les Combes. The whole race I've said Les Combes, but I'm not actually sure whether it is Les Combes. But I'm pretty sure the corner is called Les Combes. If it's not, then I basically look like a retard right now, because throughout the whole race I've said that these corners were called Les Combes. But luckily able to stay in front of Overdyking. Again, I think if Overdyking wanted to overtake he could, but he was pretty clever there probably. He's obviously busy with his own race as well. And we skipped to lap 10 of the race. Metis in the meantime also went for his pit stop. It's obviously now waiting for the guys who are on the super soft tires to make their pit stop. They will probably be doing so around lap, well, what is it? I don't know even. Maybe lap 80, something like that, maybe a little bit late. I'm not even sure. We'll see what's gonna happen here. 147.5 was the lap of the race here. Flores Wyers actually went into the pit lane, so he was on the super soft tire, wasn't he? Oh, sorry, the ultra soft tire. Now goes onto a set of super soft tires. I'm actually starting to have doubts whether Flores was on the ultra soft or super soft. This race was recorded quite a long way ago, but fair enough. I'll try to keep up with it as much or as best as I can. The 15th of the race then behind RS Dennis, who was on the super soft tire. Okay, Flores must have been on the ultra soft tires then, as Dennis in front of us has not stopped yet, so he's still driving on the super soft tire. Interestingly enough, Flores Wyers' pace was marvelous around this track. Was a very quick driver and actually closed the gap to us while we are being held up here slightly by RS Dennis. Should be able to go for a move quite soon. Side by side in Blanchimont perhaps? Nope, not doing that just yet, backing out of it. But again, we do need to be careful with Flores wires here. Actually, Flores may go for a move into the bus stop chicane. We cannot make a move on Dennis ourselves just yet. Flores on the outside here as the inside line of the left-hander doesn't leave a lot of room at all. We are squeezed off the track by Flores wires. And to be honest, I thought it was a little bit cheeky. And so I thought into this first turn, fuck you. I'm basically gonna do the exact same to you. Put it on the inside, leave no room for him at all on the exit. There we go. I was absolutely done with Flores at that point. Excuse me for the language there, but it was basically the way I thought at that time of the race. With Flores wires, I've said it many times before, I always feel like he does not leave room for the competitor. He does not leave room for you at all. This is not the first time it has happened. I mean, I can deal with it for, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 times. But this is, I don't know how many of time he has done it to us, and I was a little bit fed up with it. Every time I feel like I battle with him, there's always something that seems not necessarily unfair. Well, quite often it is unfair in my opinion, but also a little bit of disrespect. And if you treat me like that for 1 or 2 times, fair enough. But if it is a consistent pattern, then I'm a little bit done with it myself. So I flew it on the inside of him there as well. Just like he did basically to us, and left no room for him at all. I mean, that's a little bit enough now. If you treat me like that, I'm gonna treat you the exact same thing. Maybe it's a little bit low to do the exact same thing. In some situations you want to be a little bit above that, if that makes any sense. But again, if it happens quite often, 1 or 2 times, fair enough. But if it happens the whole time and it's a pattern, that every time you race this guy he leaves no room, then I'm gonna decide to do the exact same thing back. Sorry for the language there as well, but I'm trying to, of course, what I want to do in my videos always is try to replicate the exact thoughts that I had during a race, and those thoughts were, you know, what was going on there. Then this is quite interesting. We're both trying to get DRS on each other. I'm in lean mixture, trying to get DRS on Flores. He didn't go for a move into turn 1. He is clever enough, of course. He knows as well that the DRS, the taxi zone was right there. We just passed it. So Flores now way off DRS on us, and I think we'll be a sitting duck coming onto this camel straight here. Let's see. His DRS will be open now. Actually doesn't pull in that much. So it seems like we're able to keep it in 4th place for the time being, coming into Lake Com. Having said that, he's on our outside. A little bit of a tap. And Flores actually goes through, does he? Well, we're still side by side. Okay, so this is a good battle then. Side by side coming into the hairpin. 3rd gear. Leaving room for him. Could have squeezed him there off track, but don't want to do that. Then still side by side here. This is a marvelous battle actually. Fair enough to Flores here for leaving room. Coming side by side into Pouron. Again side by side into Pouron, but Flores has the shorter line there, so makes the move stick. Fair enough. You know, at that time I forgot what he did before. If you keep those thoughts in your mind, you know, if you keep being aggressive, you keep being frustrated, all that's gonna happen is, 1, you'll probably do a stupid thing and take yourself and your opponent out of the race, and 2, it will only cost you time. And we have to keep in mind that we are also in a battle between ourselves and Racecraft, our teammate, and Jamson. So Flores got by, and the strategy right now, as we are not even halfway through the race, the strategy for now was to stick with Flores as much as we could. On average, I believe Flores is roughly 2-3 faster a lap than us. But if we are able to stick with him, we will have to DRS the whole time. We will have slipstream the whole time. And I was able to keep that up for roughly 3-4 laps. But then, making a mistake into La Source here, by the way. But then Flores basically got away. The gap was over a second, and from that moment onwards, you don't, of course, pick up a lot of slipstream anymore. You don't pick up a lot of DRS anymore. So, you know, we had to let him go. So what's the situation right now is Racecraft is right behind us. He obviously went for his pit stop a few laps ago. He is on fresh super softs, and he will have fresh auto softs for the end of the race. So since this is our teammate, I am not quite keen on putting up a massive fight against him. So I go into lean mixture. The only thing that I can do now, well, the thought that I had right now was, if I let my teammate through, he will, first of all, hopefully we can stick with him for a little while. Well, that strategy is already out of the window because you can see he pulled away quite a bit. Secondly, if I let him by, there's quite a big chance that he will be able to challenge Flores at the end of the race. And if our teammate can sneak off a few points from Flores, that will be awesome because Flores is closer than us in the championship than our teammate is. So if our teammate can finish ahead of Flores and sneak off a few points, that would be brilliant. Thirdly, our main rival in the championship is Gemsel. If I battle with our teammate at that point, if I were to battle with our teammate at that point, I probably lose a little bit of time, and Gemsel at the end of the race will probably be challenging us and have a shot at overtaking us. So didn't want to lose a lot of time by didn't want to lose a lot of time there battling our teammate. Let him through, and hopefully he can challenge Flores as well, and hopefully at the end of the race we can stay in front of Gemsel. So lap 32 then, we're behind Flores, 3 seconds is the gap now, we're on our final stint. And the guys, I think Racecraft and Gemsel are both yet to stop. Yeah, correct. They are both yet to stop and go to the ultra soft tire then. And then, look at that. If you... that is the most stupid penalty, I think, that I've picked up so far. I'm not even gonna comment about it. Or comment on it. There's no need for me to do that. I mean, everyone can see that that penalty is very unnecessary and very stupid. So we know now that we have got a 3-second penalty underneath our belt, which won't make life easier for us at all. Lap 33 of the race, you can see there our teammate is in the pit lane, Racecraft KLM. He is gone for a fresh set of ultra soft tires. Has to do 11 laps on them, which is quite a stretch, but he should be able to make it. And he rejoins in front of Counter-Strike, is he? Yes, he is. So 10 laps to go. I know at this stage our teammate will probably overtake us, so we'll be dropping another position. We've got a 3-second time penalty. Counter-Strike is behind us. What I need to do now is I need to make sure that we have got a 3-second gap at least to Counter-Strike. In that case, I can probably, if he has also not got a penalty, I can probably stay in front of him at least in the final results. Lap 36, Racecraft of course flying on this fresh set of ultra softs. Again, you know my philosophy right now, you know my thoughts. If our teammate can sneak up a few points on Flores via, it's perfect. So let's not put up a huge fight against him. And let's also make sure that we can stay in front of Gemsel. Gemsel actually just had the fastest lap time, so for some reason Gemsel has dropped quite a bit, and we might be able to stay in front of Gemsel actually, which would be quite nice. At this time I did not know what happened to Gemsel, and with benefit of hindsight, as Racecraft goes onto our inside there quite easily, with benefit of hindsight I can actually tell you that Gemsel had he had picked up a stop and go penalty while battling with someone else or something like that. So that is why Gemsel dropped a little bit of time. And actually we might be able to finish in 4th place because of that. So it's quite funny. I mean, we started in 2nd here. We were in 1st place the first 5 laps or so. Then we got overtaken by Matus, and I really tried the best that I could, but our race pace, I'm gonna have to be honest, it was not on a comparable level with Racecraft, with Flores and with Allard. So they definitely deserve a top 3. Flores was actually absolutely flying around the track, regardless of what I said earlier about his Racecraft and, you know, criticizing him for it. Again, there's always a clear pattern in my opinion with Flores. This guy just, in my opinion, he's never fair. He never leaves a lot of room for you, and he always forces you off the track. Or there's contact made and he makes his way through because of that. Now the pace was quite consistent, but pay attention to the gap to Counter-Strike. It is just over 3 seconds with 2 laps to go, so we need to push here as much as we can in order to keep that gap above 3 seconds. What I was gonna say though, regardless of what I said about Flores, he spaced his race. Considering he started from the back, absolutely incredible, very impressive. If he didn't start from the back, I reckon he perhaps could have changed Matus for the win. So final lap of the race then, our only vision, our only target for this final lap is to keep the gap to Counter-Strike above 3 seconds, and that's really it. Then we'll be able to finish in 4th place. Not necessarily the result that I wanted. I mean, you always really want to be finishing on the podium. I think that has been our strength for the whole season so far. It is consistent results. I'm not the fastest out of these guys, definitely not. Quite often Flores is on roll pace faster than us. Quite often Racecraft, our teammate, is on roll pace quite faster than us. But we keep finishing consistently on the podium, and that is really the strength, I think, from us. Today couldn't really do that, but after overstay there coming into P1. But after this race comes Monza, and I reckon Monza will be a key race for us. Why do I say that? We're coming out of the summer break now, not necessarily getting the result that we want at Spa. We're in 4th place, but if we can get a good result at Monza, we can again show that we are able to score consistently on the podium. If we are able to finish in 2nd place, for example, at Monza, behind Alec van der Wal, then we're back on track for stabilizing our 2nd place in the championship. So Metis then again wins this race, unsurprisingly a dominant performance. Flores is coming in 2nd, or does he? He actually came home in 3rd, so it seems like our teammate was able to overtake Flores in the end. I can tell you he was not able to overtake Flores in the end, but I think Flores was demoted down to 3rd place because of time penalty. So here we see the final results. Our teammate did not pick up any penalties, which is very impressive, and therefore was able to finish in front of Flores. In the end, we finished in 4th, at least that is what I thought. We did not finish in 4th. Gemsel, in the end, got 4th place because his stop and go was actually removed. So they removed like 5 seconds or whatever it was from his final race time, that he had to stay stationary in the pit lane. And therefore he finished ahead of us. Something that I did not calculate at all. I really thought that 4th place was in the back. But in the end, the stewards decided to remove basically the 5 or 7 seconds, whatever it is, from Gemsel's stop and go time. And that meant that he, in the end, finished in front of us. So that was a little bit of a bummer, to be honest, because I thought that I finished above our main rival in the championship, which then wasn't the case. So just actually pulls or reels us in a little bit again in the championship. So again, this is what I said. Monza will be very important. We need to show again that we want to stabilize this 2nd place in the championship. I mean, Alad has pretty much sealed it already, hasn't he? He is so fast. But we also need to consider that at any point right now in the championship, we could see F1 2018 being implemented in this league. And you don't know what's that gonna bring, of course. It's a new game. We are all yet to discover what's gonna happen already. You always can just do the best that you can, and that's really it. I did that for Spa as well. Today 4th place was the maximum. I gave it my all. I didn't make any necessarily like big mistakes, so 4th place, best that we could get. Happy with that, but I do need to make sure that Monza is again at least a podium spot. We need to get that at least. So thanks all for watching again. First race after the summer break, still a long way to go, of course, in the championship. Let's make sure that we get a good result at Monza. If you have enjoyed this video, I would sincerely appreciate a like. That's pretty much it for me. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves, please, and goodbye.